A very good morning to all the students of class 2. I'm your English teacher, and today we are going to read chapter number 4 of your book. And the name of this chapter is The Ant and the Grasshopper. Now, I want to ask all of you one thing, that have you ever seen ants moving? How do they move? They generally move in a line, in a proper line, just one after the other. And when these ants, when they're moving in a line, where do you think they are going at that point of time? Generally, when you see ants moving in a straight line, one after the other, they are going to collect food for themselves. So now let us read the story of a very short story of a grasshopper and an ant. It was a beautiful summer morning and Mr. Grasshopper was lazing around. He was enjoying the weather and chirping away merrily. While Mr. Grasshopper was relaxing, he saw his neighbor, Mr. Ant, working very hard. So, what is happening in the first two scenes? You can see Grasshopper, he's just relaxing himself very much. He's enjoying the beautiful summer, the sunshine, he's enjoying the weather. And he suddenly sees that his neighbor, who is Mr. Grasshopper's neighbor, Mr. Ant, he sees that my neighbor, Mr. Ant, he's working very hard. So Mr. Grasshopper, he gets a little curious. Now he wants to know what is happening. Why is Mr. Ant working so hard? So Mr. Grasshopper tells Mr. Ant, "Hello, Mr. Ant, what are you busy doing? Why don't you come and sing with me? It is a bright and beautiful day. Let us enjoy ourselves." So, Mr. Grasshopper offers some relaxation time to Mr. Ant. So he says, "You come with me, we both are going to enjoy our time together, relaxing in the sun." So Mr. Ant, he very politely says, "I am collecting food for the winter. I have no time to relax." So now Mr. Grasshopper, he's a little surprised. He says, "There is plenty of time for that. Why bother about it now? We have plenty of food available." So Mr. Grasshopper, he's laughing at Mr. Ant. He's saying, "Oh my God, why is this Mr. Ant so worried about collecting food right now? We don't need that. Winters are a little far away. We don't need to start collecting food right now only." So what does Mr. Ant say? He said, "It will be winter soon and there will be snow everywhere. It will be difficult to find food then. I will work hard now to stock enough food so that I don't starve in winter. See you later, Mr. Grasshopper. I have a lot of work to do." So Mr. Ant said to Mr. Grasshopper, "See, Mr. Grasshopper, winters, when they come, everything will be frozen. So there will be no food at all. So in order to ensure that I do not starve in winters, starve means I do not die out of hunger in winters, it is important that I start working hard right now. I start collecting food right now." And Mr. Ant went on his way and continued collecting food. Then what happened? The winters came, the season changed. Warm summer made way for snowy winter. So now it was time for winters. There was snow everywhere, and Mr. Grasshopper could not find food. Remember, Mr. Ant had already warned Mr. Grasshopper that there won't be any food left in winters. So Mr. Ant and his friends had stored plenty of food and were safe and cozy in their colony. So, Mr. Ant, because he had worked hard in summers, now he was able to enjoy winters with his friend. Now, who was relaxing? It was Mr. Ant who was relaxing with his friends. And who was working hard to get food now? Mr. Grasshopper. So, now when they saw, they refers to Mr. Ant and his friends. So when they saw Mr. Grasshopper looking for food in the snow, they decided to help him. They gave him some of their food. Mr. Grasshopper was fed and sheltered. Was fed means Mr. Grasshopper was given food and he was also allowed to stay with the ants. So tell me, what have you learned from this chapter? A very important lesson that you need to apply in your life. And if I talk about your present situation as a student, if I talk about, most of us have this habit that we have our exams at least twice a year. So what do? We wait for the exams to come and we keep on telling our parents or maybe to our teachers that we will study, when the exams are right on our head, that is when we will start studying. But what happens that when the exams are right on our head and we sit to study, we open our books, we open our notebooks, we are generally blank. Sometimes we do not even understand that what was being taught in the class. We are not able to recall it. Why? Because we behaved like Mr. Grasshopper, relaxing right now. We did not prepare ourselves for future like Mr. Ant did. So from Mr. Ant we have learned that to have a good future you need to start preparing right now. And it is all right if you start preparing small preparations. Even that is fine. Even if you study 1 hour daily, believe me, when the time of exam comes, you will be quite prepared with your subjects. You will not have to, look for help. Oh my God, I'm not able to understand this chapter. Oh my God, I'm not able to solve this particular sum. Someone please help me. That will not happen with you because you started preparing yourself from day one. And why it is important? Because it is not necessary that all of us will be able to find Mr. Ant in our life. So you should prepare yourself every moment so that you are well prepared for the future, so that your future is very happy. So you need to work in the present situation to have a good future. So next time, don't make any excuses like Mr. Grasshopper. When your mama tells you, or your papa tells you, or your teacher tells you that study for your exam, don't say there's plenty of time for that. You saw now what happened with Mr. Grasshopper. So prepare yourself, start preparing yourself from this moment onwards. I wish all of you the very best for your life. Thank you so much, students.